Curtis Ellis coming up. He had a great piece yesterday right after the speech in the Daily Caller. You can just go to dailycaller.com and look Curtis Ellis up. Great piece, made me laugh. I read it when I got up this morning. It was the first thing I read. It was really funny. It was a great piece. So you want to do that. And he's also a senior advisor with America First Policies. And you know what? I've got a message from America First Policies. What an unbelievable coincidence. We can't wait any longer to secure the borders. That's what the president said. Over the past 3 months, 60,000 migrants showed up at our border every month. That's 720,000 a year, same as the entire city of Seattle. Now, even worse, this human wave carries dangerous criminals. Illegal aliens are charged with killing 12 Americans just last year. That's one a month. Good people like police officer Singh and 16-year-old Madison Wells stabbed to death by her ex-boyfriend who was here illegally. And what about Logan and Jessica Wilson? Their 3 young children are now permanently separated from their parents after an illegal alien charged with drunk driving and manslaughter crashed into them. This is sad and it's sick. Enough already. Call Congress, tell them you heard the president last night and you want them to build the wall now. You can call now. They answer the phone, 202-224-3121. Tell me you've had enough. 202-224-3121. Call them now. For more information, go to americafirstpolicies.org. This message is paid for and authorized by America First Policies, Incorporated. Joining us now, Senior Policy Advisor for America First Policies. He's also was with the Department of Labor. He was with the Trump campaign. He was with the transition team. He's been all over the place. And he's now an accomplished writer and author. Read him on the Daily Caller. Read him in The Hill. Read him all over the place. And he's with us now, Curtis Ellis. And this is a special day for Curtis. Today is Curtis's birthday. So let's start by saying, Curtis Ellis, happy birthday.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. It's great to be alive.
I know. Curtis,
great to be alive
and
to be on John Frederick's show.
I know, right? The Godzilla of truth. Now, we're not going to tell you how old Curtis is, but he could retire today and collect Social Security. Now, Curtis, but I'm not going to tell your age.
What?
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say how old you are, because age is a state of mind, my friend.
That's right.
Just look at Trump. 72 years old and still going strong. Curtis, a great piece in the Daily Caller yesterday. So right before you came on, Philip Rucker of the Washington Post comes in, and he's interviewing Corey Lewandowski upstairs. So I looked up his Twitter feed, and he blasted the president's speech to smithereens. He said it was dull, and he didn't want to do it. And then he leaked the off-the-record meeting at the luncheon and said the president even didn't want to do the speech. And what did you think of the whole thing?
I thought the speech was very good. I thought he laid out the case very clearly. It's about crime. It's about humanitarian crisis. These people, no one's doing any favors by, or let's put it this way: we're not doing these people from Central America any favors by having an open border, by not enforcing our laws, because then they become victims of the whole. Well, I don't have to tell your audience what the problem is. They get the problem. I thought he laid out the problem very clearly, very succinctly, in 11 minutes, and then that freak show came on. I can't believe what Nancy and Chuck looked like. I mean, that was the most unflattering portrait I have ever seen. It looked like American Gothic, the farmer family with the wife and the guy with the pitchfork and standing in front of the house. I mean, it was like really weird. I thought the president did a great job. And, of course, the legacy media is never going to say anything nice about this guy. So it does not surprise me that Philip Rucker thought it was boring. If it wasn't boring, you would have said, oh, my gosh, he was dramatic, overly dramatic. He was ranting and raving. So, whatever.
All right, so look, Curtis Ellis, I'm not going to focus on what Philip Rucker said. He's a hopeless legacy media, fake news, liberal. Let's get to what really matters here. The president laid his case out yesterday. Morgan Griffith said something I thought was very interesting, and then I want to get to your column. And what he said is, here's the deal. Here's why the Democrats don't want to negotiate, because they're afraid the president will say yes. And I thought that was brilliantly done. So I want to go over two things. DACA. 1 year ago, Schumer shut the government down over DACA and screamed about the kids, the kids, the kids. Why not just go to the president and say, look, I'll give you your $5.7 billion. Let's just get a deal on DACA because it's about the kids, and the kids, which he said 12 months ago. Now, all of a sudden, those kids don't matter, so DACA's off the table. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I think your congressman there is on to